Hey everyone, Liz Morris here from the Nail Hub, and I am always trying to improve upon what I'm doing personally. And I went through an experience recently over the holidays that is still unresolved, and it made me think a lot about just perspectives and how I can better approach things in my environment. And I thought I would share this story because I think it might be applicable to some of you and be helpful for some of you. So, I recently did a little bit of a construction project on my home. I wanted to add a door in the hallway of our house. And I always am really proud of my ability to research things and to find providers and to be kind of on top of my game. It's where one of the areas that I derive pride from is my ability to do things in a very robust way. I'm totally a process engineer kind of person. So the better I'm able to do a process and the more efficient I feel like I've been and the more, prepared I feel going into something, I'm always like, yeah, good job, Liz. You did all of your research and you picked the best possible company and you really nailed this and you really did everything you could do to prepare for this situation, which is funny because, when you're going to hire somebody else to provide something for you, like you're the customer, right? And I never take that back seat with anything. I'm always a very active customer with anything that I'm doing, any type of project I'm doing, any kind of service I'm asking for, anything. I always try to come to the table as a very active participant, and I'm always trying to be a very good client for people that I work with. So, this particular situation, I needed a door added into our hallway, and so I did my research. I found what I thought was a really great company. And I did everything I could. I actually grew up around construction a lot when I was younger. And I did everything I could based on my experience to explain what I was looking for, what my expectations were. I also tried to anticipate some of the common issues that can arise. So, as an example, this particular door, we have a lot of doors in our home that are all stained wood. So because we already have existing doors that kind of need to be matched, I don't want this one door to look completely different. I knew that going into this, I would need to really explicitly explain, hey, I need this new door to look like it's always been here, right? I don't want this one door to completely stand out like a sore thumb. So I was explaining, hey, whatever needs to be done as far as providing a sample of what this needs to look like when it's finished. If you guys want to take one of the cabinet doors off of, our laundry room and that way you can match the color, whatever the situation needs to be, I was trying to do everything I could as the client to set expectations, to clarify, to ask questions. I didn't really know how exactly this went down with each individual person that was involved. And there's a lot of people involved. Anytime you do a construction project, there's always a lot of people involved. And lots of different independent contractors being hired to complete different stages of work. What was interesting to me, especially from my own personal perspective, was I was doing my best to try and communicate everything that I needed and also trying to anticipate maybe things that had fallen short in the past, really trying to be, again, an active customer for these people. And at the end of the day, the whole project has just completely gone sideways. For one reason or another, the communication was terrible. People didn't know what they were doing. They showed up on site and they hadn't been told what they needed from whoever was there before. Or, the company that was basically hiring this contractor to come out and do the work, they hadn't communicated to the contractor. So these poor people are just showing up with no preparation, not understanding what the heck is going on. And, I'm trying to be calm, cool, and collected because at the end of the day, they're just showing up to do the work. They're not the ones that were arranging all of this stuff. So there's a lot of just patience involved, understanding involved, but this whole thing has just gone completely sideways. Well, long story short, the impact on me personally, beyond the fact that I still have a door that's in the hallway that is not stained and not finished, and we're talking about something that was supposed to be a 2-day install project, has now been going on for over 3.5 weeks now, and still is unresolved, which I'm working on. That's frustrating in and of itself. But the real thing that made me think about it, and the real thing that I started to get truly upset about, was not necessarily the fact that those people had fallen short on what they were needing to do, or that the work hadn't been completed, because that stuff happens all the time. If you think about things going wrong in your life, right? And things that truly are outside of your control, there's really nothing you can do to control that. There's nothing I could have said or done or prepared for or anticipated that would guarantee that every single person that showed up at my house to complete this job would be able to do that to my expectations, right? We just cannot control the world to that extent. And that is something that I truly struggle with. I am one of those people. I'm such a perfectionist, and I always, take a lot of pride out of my ability to prepare and be on top of my game. And I'm always trying to be, the person that takes the high road and does more than the bare minimum. And if that is a place that you derive pride from, and you derive your motivation and your sense of value from, it can be really hard when things don't go your way. So why am I bringing this up? Well, I was thinking about this. I did an episode not too long ago about just kind of this transitional moment that I've been in with my business, and just me thinking about where I am and where I want to be, and the decisions I've made, and just the roads that we take, and how you can go down a road really, really long ways and realize that you want to turn around. And I think that there's, an importance around giving yourself, like I said in another previous episode, giving yourself grace. Because it's not just about making mistakes, it's also about, even when you do your best and things do not go according to plan, or they don't go your way. And I think 2023 in general, and also the years before that, I feel like as a world, we've been on this trajectory of just kind of difficulties. I think a lot of us were on a high before the pandemic started. And then I think since then, we've just been experiencing a lot of change, maybe not so drastic that we're able to pinpoint exactly where that frustration is coming from. But I do think that if you really sit back and think, it's hard to analyze it because it's been kind of sudden, but then slow at the same time. This year, this past year, 2023, has really been a slow burn of consequences that I think arose from even before the pandemic. The pandemic kind of made things come and shine through. And then all of those lingering consequences have been kind of boiling under the surface for a lot of different reasons, whether it be the way that the world just operates, the way that people feel, people being unable to make ends meet, just the issues that we have in our world with the way, people are able to make a livable wage, with the amount of work it takes to actually make a livable wage. Things just aren't as easy and free flowing as they used to be. I think a lot of you guys will probably agree with me that that's how you kind of feel. And again, maybe you're not able to pinpoint it on a specific thing, but it's just in general, things are more expensive. They take longer. It's harder to accomplish them. And so I wanted to just talk about this from the perspective of, again, giving yourself a little bit of grace, because I know that I'm really hard on myself when things don't go according to plan. It's funny, instead of kind of blaming or being angry at the situation, or being upset with a specific individual that maybe wasn't able to provide what they were supposed to provide, what's interesting about this experience was I found myself actually beating myself up about how I should have done better. I should have communicated better. I should have anticipated more. I should have communicated more clearly. I should have provided more information. There was something I could have done that I didn't do. And that's why I'm in this position with this unfinished project that's literally in the middle of my house. And, nothing is more frustrating than having something in your home that's just creating turmoil and chaos, because our homes are places that hopefully are our sense and source of solace. So when your sense and source of solace is kind of taken from you because you've got this kind of unresolved thing happening, you've got people coming and going, it can really affect you in a lot of ways, especially during the holidays. But I found myself beating myself up. And so I wanted to use this as an example for you as to, there are going to be situations that even those of you who follow my channel, and if you follow my channel, you probably are naturally one of those people that's looking to do more, be better. You enjoy the fact that I'm always trying to, give you guys motivation and up the ante and provide all of those tips and tricks for ultimate success. So if you're someone who's seeking that stuff out, you probably are someone who's striving really hard to do more, be better, be more successful, improve upon yourself, always trying to up the ante, always trying to do, the best you can. And I totally respect that. but it's also something that really gives us a cross to bear, which is it's something that is going to make it even harder for us to face adversity. It's going to make it even harder to accept defeat when defeat happens, because we are going to say to ourselves, hey, I could have done more. I could have been better. I could have, prepared more. So I think it's really important to just sit back when you really have done everything that you could have done. You really need to give yourself a pat on the back for that, because you're doing more than most people. You're trying to actually be an active participant in everything that you're engaged in, whether you're the person providing the service or you're the person receiving the service, or maybe it's in a relationship, maybe it's in whatever facet of your life it might be in. If you feel like you're one of those people that you are trying to be active, you are trying to do more and be better, I want you to really give yourself a moment to pat yourself on the back for that, because there are a lot of people who don't do that. And when things don't go according to plan, it's just something that sometimes we can't control. And it's important to just sit there and go, hey, there's nothing I could have done about this. Crap happens, and you will be able to address it. You will be able to move forward. Yes, maybe it's going to be difficult, but the important part is giving yourself some grace, not being defeated, motivationally or emotionally. Maybe you're defeated in this one moment. Maybe things, maybe there's an extra obstacle that you weren't able to anticipate. But it's also important to just have that confidence that you're going to be able to find a solution. You're going to be able to move forward, okay? And I've talked about this before, but I will talk about it again. One of the most revolutionary books that I've read for myself and my personal development was called The Obstacle is the Way. And it's basically about this. It's basically about how when we face adversity, it's not necessarily something that we should reel back from. It's something that sometimes there's a way around it. And the important skill that comes out of obstacles in our life is really finding ways around them, okay? So whether it be through them, over them, around them, that is what you should really focus on, is don't focus on the obstacle itself. Don't let obstacles beat you down. Have confidence in the fact that you're going to be able to find a solution to that obstacle. You're going to be able to get around it. And even if it's an obstacle where it's a true trauma or it's a true loss, and some of those, it's not just a mere obstacle where you need to find a solution. It's something that you're going to have to journey through. But I was actually just watching this random clip of Angelina Jolie talking about trauma and about, difficulties. And she's like, just go through, just go right through. Get through it, because when you're on the other side, you're going to be able to move forward again. So I think just, again, we're transitioning into this new year. It was something that was just kind of a random experience for me, and it really got me down, and I'm still very frustrated about it, but I found myself beating myself up about it. I found myself actually beating myself up about this obstacle that I did not create, and that I did do everything in my power to anticipate and to prevent and to address, and it still just did not work out the way that I had anticipated. And although I am extremely disappointed by the experience, I shouldn't be disappointed in myself, because that is not helpful to me and my motivation for the new year and for me to keep my head up and to move forward. And so we need to kind of let these things slide off our back. We need to address them head on. We need to give ourselves that grace that we have done everything that we can do. And even when you haven't done everything you could have done, still, I think it's important to acknowledge that in a very patient way with yourself, to have self-compassion, because I think a lot of us are really struggling with self-compassion these days, and I know I am. So that is going to be my goal for 2024, is to have more self-compassion. I already know in my heart of hearts that I'm doing the best that I can. And so when things don't go my way, or they don't go the way that really they objectively should, I need to just let that go. I need to not, feel responsible for that. I need to find ways around those obstacles and to focus on solutions instead of focusing on problems, and to still pat myself on the back for not giving up and being one of those people that's continuing to move forward and continuing to improve on what I can control. And I think that's the real focus, which is focus on what you can control. There are a lot of things you cannot control. There are a lot of things that are going to be in your purview that are going to distract you, that you're going to say, oh, I wish I was like this, or I wish it was like that, or, I'm not like this, or I'm not like that, or, I wasn't able to find the solution to this problem, or I'm struggling in this particular area of my life. And this common theme that I'm really going through, which is that acknowledging those things and doing what you can about them, making a conscious decision to actually take those things head on, to analyze them, find a solution, and move forward. That is going to be the thing that really makes you stand out from all the other people that reel back from obstacles, that get demotivated, that give up, that wave the white flag. And also, it's going to be the differentiating factor between the version of you that is going to constantly be beating yourself up versus the version of you that is going to be able to maintain that motivation and that optimism, because you're going to be able to take those things in stride. You're going to be able to acknowledge them, but at the same time realize that everything is going to change. Everything is going to move forward, whether or not you're responding the way you should be responding. And it's up to you to decide how you want to move forward. Do you want to be an active participant? Do you want to be someone who is self-compassionate, that finds solutions to problems instead of just fixating on problems? And this experience with this door in my hallway was definitely one of those aha moments for me, where I kept going, wow, this is really ruining my day. I'm sitting there ruminating about it all the time and really beating myself up about, could I have done something differently? Where did I fall short? And sometimes it's not you that's falling short. It's just the fact that things are outside of our control. So I just wanted to put this out there, a little food for thought today. Hope you all are doing amazingly well. And I'll be in touch again soon with another episode. Bye.